All right, the Lakers won the NBA championship last night. LeBron gets a half championship. Brandon Pope, is he better than MJ?
No.
Oh, sorry, we can't hear from Brandon.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, I know. He really doesn't even have 4. He has like 3.5. Brandon, that means a half season. It's not even real.
It's 100%.
Oh, that's how we lost him again.
Oh, darn.
It. Michael Jordan played in one city. One city. He didn't bounce around. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's an.
Sorry, muted him. I am J.
Okay. Hopefully Brandon Pope has all of his equipment worked out. It wasn't our fault. It was the internet's fault.
What I was trying to say is that I wish we could do that in real life so we could just mute him, like in person, you know what I'm saying? But you guys didn't let me get that in.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not the first person that's had that idea, Deanna. Yet we still love our Brandon Pope. You guys, welcome to the Jam. Felicia Lawrence here, John Hansen, and we've got Deanna Gutierrez in for Amy Rutledge today.
Boy, you almost forgot my name there. And one name we can't forget here in Chicago is Ricky Renteria. Managed the Cubs for a few years, got fired. Went to the White Sox for 4 years, led them to the precipice of glory. And he got fired today. Poor Ricky Renteria. Did the same thing with the Cubs. He got them right to the point where they were really good, and then they let him go.
Well, let them tell it. It was more of a mutual agreement.
Oh, yeah, right.
So
they were
they
like, hey, Ricky, what do you think about this? And Ricky's like, well, and then they're like, you're fired. Okay, fine. Rumors are swirling about Ozzie Guillen with a return, but Rick Hahn, the general manager, says, nope, we're not bringing Ozzie back. And then rumors of Tony La Russa, who used to manage the White Sox like when I was 3, and then managed the Cardinals for a while. So rumors are swirling. We'll have to wait to see what the White Sox are going to do next year.
What'd you say, Deanna?
No, I was just going to say, we just need someone that doesn't hold off the players to the side for the most important games. We know all games in the playoffs are important. So just a little, I don't know much about baseball. I'm just saying, I think we should put all the best players out forward. But guys, I have something really cool to tell you. So Southwest is adding flights out of O'Hare Airport. Okay. And it's not going to be tomorrow. It's going to be by the middle of 2021. Now, details on the schedule and fares have yet to be released. But the pandemic was actually a little bit on the good side for this. Because of reduced flights out of O'Hare, they were like, hey, we have an opportunity to squeeze in some Southwest flights here. As you guys know, Southwest has been operating flights out of Midway only since 1985. And all I got to say is thank goodness.
Well, yeah, you'll get a few less planes maybe flying directly over your house, Tiana. But I don't know what this love affair that people have with O'Hare. I've only seen people go, oh, finally, great. I love Southwest because I like going to Midway. It is smaller. It is quicker through security. It's easier to get to. Forget O'Hare. I'm still sticking with Midway. Midway, I'm your guy.
Yeah, well, no one likes going to O'Hare unless you are living in Rosemont. Then it works out for you. No Southsider has ever said anything like that. I mean, it's kind of like I've seen these memes online talking about that it's a love language. If a Chicagoan picks you up from O'Hare Airport, they must really, really love you. It's not an enjoyable experience. It's too big.
By the way, Felicia, is mid-hair what you told your salon person at the salon? Not big hair, not small hair. Mid-hair. I love your haircut, girl.
Thank you. Mid-hair is about actually what I got.
Oh, well, whether you're flying out of O'Hare, mid-hair, or Midway today, you might have noticed the planes are a bit wobbly. But tomorrow, way less windy. We're going to have a really chilly morning. But look at those temperatures tomorrow. We're going to get to the low 70s.
Hey, everybody. We've got a special guest with us today, the one and only Steve Wilkos, who has recently premiered the 14th season of his hit talk show, which can be seen on both CW26 and The U. Steve, welcome back, as always, to the Jam, and congratulations.
Thank you. Nice to be back, but I wish I could be there in person.
I know. We just wrapped up a Cubs season last year. We were able to talk about Cubs baseball in person, but we'll do it in 2021. Okay, we're gonna get to the show, but everyone is asking this question on social media. we don't have a second presidential debate this week, but it looks like there's going to be one more. After the first one, everyone was wondering, would Steve Wilkos have been a better moderator than what we saw? Would you have been able to handle those two?
I doubt it. I mean, I don't think they would have listened to anybody. So it certainly was a disappointment to watch that night, that's for sure, because I think people are interested in hearing what both had to say, and we didn't get a lot of that.
No, I think Steve is exactly who we needed. We definitely needed him.
That's for sure.
Tell us about your premiere. Tell us about the show.
Just like everybody else, trying to figure out how we were going to do this in the pandemic. I was really nervous. I'm like, how are we going to do a show without an audience and all the rules that are in place now as far as guests? But we were waiting to see how the people at home watching it was going to, what their response to it is.
One thing I've always appreciated about you and your show is you don't shy away from issues that a lot of shows don't want to talk about, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's alcoholism, some really serious topics. And what I appreciate you guys still doing the show now is those issues aren't going away for everyone during COVID. Those things don't just disappear. In fact, in some ways, they could be getting worse. So I think it's important to have your show talk about those things.
Well, I think we're the only show that does cover those topics. I mean, something I've done differently this year, I told my assistant that I wanted to start reading the emails that come into the show. And it really, listen, it makes me feel good that people say, hey, I went through kind of the same thing that, was on your show. And I'm really happy that you're doing it. It's helped me out. It's helped me out through difficult times. So, that's what keeps me grounded is I'm grateful, but I also know how hard it is to get ahead. And that's what I instill in my kids. I go, look around, because unless you work really hard and, keep your nose to the grindstone, you're not going to be living this life as an adult. Like, you really got to, bust it if you want to live like this someday.
Steve, congratulations on season 14. Good luck, man. Okay.
I look forward to seeing you guys in person.
Yeah, we can't wait. And Steve Wilkos, of course, you can catch him right here on CW26 weekdays at noon and at midnight at 9 p.m. on The U.
I think there will still be ice while I'm alive, but everything is changing.
National Geographic's latest documentary, The Last Ice, tells the story of melting glaciers you see there and threatening Inuit communities and their way of life. Scott Ressler is the producer behind this. And Scott, I got to say, the images are shocking. I think we've seen, melting glaciers before. But what I love about the direction of your documentary is talking about the human impact in real time. Was that the intention when you started, or did you kind of find that story once you got started?
It was a slow evolution to get to that point. We went up to the Arctic initially, and we were telling this. We've all seen the images of the sad polar bear out on the lone piece of ice drifting out into sea. And that's sort of what we began doing. But then when we went up and started talking to Inuit in different communities and really hearing these intensely personal stories about the ice changing and hunters not being able to access the same hunting grounds that their parents and grandparents did, and even things as tragic as people falling through the ice, we knew that we'd found a different angle to the climate change story that might resonate with more people.
Right, and hopefully enact some sort of changes, I imagine, is the ultimate lesson of this thing. Like many other documentaries we've seen in the past, maybe that message, using the people that are currently experiencing this, will be the motivation for change for a lot of people.
That's right. And I think we really need to listen to Indigenous people who have been living and still live in communion with the land. I mean, there's a reason that they haven't depleted their resources after thousands of years. And now, as the rest of the world is starting to experience drastic change, I think there's a lot of lessons we can learn from Inuit.
I think whenever I watch a documentary like it, I cannot wait to see this one. I'm always left with the thought of, is this problem almost too daunting that it scares people to make changes, as if there's nothing that can be done, we're already past the point of no return? Or is there lessons here that changes can be made, look to what these people are doing and adjusting, and you can take that to your heart too?
Well, I think one of the things the Last Ice is trying to do is leave this big, impossible problem of climate change with a little bit of hope. Because what the Inuit are doing right now in Greenland and Canada is trying to protect this very important area to them known as the Pikialasorsuaq, which is really vibrant with wildlife. And it's a place that also outsiders are now coming in looking for oil extraction and shipping routes. And, it's not about saying shut the whole Arctic down or nobody can do anything in the Arctic. It's about recognizing the places that are the most important and maybe setting those aside as the Arctic changes.
How challenging was this from a producing perspective? I mean, these are not easy places to get equipment, to shoot film. It's got to be incredibly daunting, the process.
Well, I'm from New England and I thought I knew the cold, but I know nothing. And filming it in minus 40 degrees as your lens fogs up and getting close to polar bear, it's all very exciting, but also I was always appreciative to come home to a warm house.
Yeah, I imagine so. Scott, the images look incredible. I can't wait to see this story. Thanks for your time today. And we're looking forward to tonight. I mean, it's going to be a big night for on National Geographic. That's where you can catch it out. All the information coming up here. And there you can follow Scott on Instagram at nationalgeographic.com to find all of those times. And The Last Ice, more information there, nationalgeographic.com/TV. B. Poper, I believe we're going over to you, my friend.
What's up, man? Coming up, Mayor Lori Lightfoot has some strong words for Chicagoans about celebrating Columbus Day. It's a hot button issue we're going to break down coming up. And the latest movie casting to cause a social media controversy. All that coming up after the break. Brandon Pope here with the news you need to know. Mayor Lori Lightfoot is addressing the controversy around Columbus Day, but hasn't said if she has any plans yet to change it to Indigenous Peoples Day, like a lot of people have been protesting and complaining about. She said in a tweet thread, "Now more than ever, we must examine and confront our nation's difficult history and do more. She also mentioned Chicago, quote, reimagining controversial statues in public spaces. Meanwhile, an Italian-American group is calling on Lightfoot to bring back the 3 Columbus statues that have been removed. And President Donald Trump, in a proclamation, blasted what he called radical activists who have sought to undermine Christopher Columbus's legacy. Christopher Columbus, Italian explorer, controversial because his conquest hurt a lot of people. It came at the expense of indigenous people. So the debate goes on as activists and even aldermen push to have Indigenous Peoples Day replace the Columbus Day holiday.
Yeah, well said. So people are always saying like, oh, you're trying to change history or you're trying to attack America. No, this is the truth about America. Not everything that has happened here has been fine and dandy, peaches and roses. And so to be able to have this open and honest dialogue about what has happened in this country and how it still is affecting people, a specific group of people hundreds of years later, is an extremely important conversation to still be had.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Felicia, I think it starts with education, right? If we would have had this two-sided conversation on what really happened when Columbus came and conquered and explored, then maybe we would be having different ideas, different conversations on why we're having this Indigenous People Day pushed a little bit more. I mean, if 130 cities have already ditched Columbus Day, moved it to Indigenous Peoples Day, I mean, that's a sign, right? That we should be taking into consideration both.
Well, I can imagine within, 10, 15, 20 years, Columbus Day will be a thing of the past. And I know we want all of our leaders to see that goal line and strive to be leading towards that goal line. You can't ignore political realities, too. Columbus is a revered figure in the Italian-American community. You got a lot of Italian-American constituents that would be very upset. So I appreciate her at least having that conversation. I understand it's a difficult position to be in. And by the way, Democratic nominee Joe Biden sat on that fence a lot today, too. It's a hard conversation to have. It's an important one, but we can't expect everyone to get to that goal line as fast as we think they will.
I think the Italians need to find new idols if Christopher Columbus is their ideal representative, because he's doesn't have a great resume. All right, guys, let's talk about these SCOTUS hearings. It's set to be a long and contentious week on Capitol Hill as day one of confirmation hearings wrapped for Amy Coney Barrett, President Trump's nominee for the U.S. Supreme Court. A divided Senate Judiciary Committee gave opening statements, and Barrett gave her own opening remarks as well, vowing to judge legal cases impartially.
Courts have a vital responsibility to the rule of law, which is critical to a free society. But courts are not designed to solve every problem or right every wrong in our public life. The policy decisions and value judgments of government must be made by the political branches.
Her selection so close to Election Day has created a lot of debate. A WAPO ABC poll says 52% of Americans think the winner of the election should fill RBG's vacant SCOTUS seat there. And obviously her comments there about impartiality, something that Democrats are really zeroing in on as they have concerns about how Obamacare and what's at stake with that, and also Roe versus Wade.
I can't find much I agree with this justice on, potential justice on, but I have to admit I feel bad for her. I think she is stuck in the middle of this heated political debate. You mentioned those polls, Brandon. I mean, they're getting narrower and narrower, 50-50 basically, on whether she should move forward, and it's become such this political thing. Look, it is great to have a Supreme Court that has different opinions. It's an important part of our democracy that the minority opinion is heard just as strongly as the majority opinion, even if it's someone that disagrees with you. So I do feel like it's unfortunate that we've gotten to this point where these justices are so politicized for having views that are different than other people.
I mean, and then you have Lindsey Graham saying that there is no persuading here. The Republicans are going to say yes. The Democrats are going to say no. We have COVID. We have justices that aren't going to get tested, that don't want to get tested, that are doing all of this remotely. I mean, like you said, John, it's just such a terrible time to be in. And also, I mean, it's so much to keep track of on top of everything else that we have going on.
Certainly. I'm thinking about how Democrats seem to always end up in this position. They play this nice party, and this is one time that Democrats are trying to put their foot down so that they don't end up with the short end of the stick. And it's almost like it's too late. It's too late.
They don't got the votes. They don't got the votes, girl. Got to vote.
Yeah, Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Well, it is a marketplace of ideas, as they say. We'll see how it turns out.
That's a nice way to put
All
that.
right,
Brandon. Way
everyone,
to put a
still
bow
ahead
on
of
that
social
sentence.
media. Oh. Still ahead, social media users give Hollywood a history lesson. First, let's take a look at the 7-day forecast as we head to break.
All right, I'm going to channel Aretha Franklin for a second, Felicia. You better vote. Think about what you're trying to do to wheel. Vote, vote, vote. Let your mind go. Let us all be free. That's where you go for more information. CW26Chicago.com.
What the man said, it'll take you far. Thanks, John. Job interviewing never seems to get easier, but there are a few things that you can do to help make things feel less stressful. So here's career coach Josh Gora with tips to help you get hired.
Hi, I'm Josh Gora. I'm going to share with you 3 tips that I like to call the 3 C's. Whether you're public speaking in front of an audience, which I've had the pleasure and opportunity to do many times, or interviewing for the career that you want with the person that's interviewing you. So the 3 C's: be clear, be concise, and be confident. Be clear on the value that you bring to the marketplace. Be concise, break down the goals, make it transferable so they understand where you're coming from and where you want to go. And be confident, probably the glue that keeps it all together. Be confident in how you portray that message, whether it's in front of an audience of 100 people or one person that you're interviewing for the career that you want.
Okay, be confident. You can hear more tips like this and see us every Sunday at 11 a.m. on Job Hunt Chicago. Stick around, more of the Jam when we return.
All right, everyone, here is what is trending. Gal Gadot is facing some heat on social media yet again. The Israeli-born actress announced on Twitter that she was set to play Cleopatra. Now, the Wonder Woman actress is very actually well known with the team, with Patti Smith, and fans took to social media to say that an Israeli shouldn't be playing the part of Egyptian royalty. Many say Cleopatra was actually Greek. Here's a look at one of the tweets that's gaining attention here. I'm sure Gal Gadot is going to do a wonderful job as Cleopatra. However, for me personally, I would love a Cleopatra who's darker than a brown paper bag because that seems a bit more historically accurate. Now, a lot of people going back and forth here. I don't even know if it's a fair question to say, is she the perfect fit for Cleopatra? I don't know. I just want to say I went into this hole of researching history and Greeks and all this other stuff that I don't even know where my head's at right now, honestly.
It's all Greek to you.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can. I hear you, John. A lot of people can certainly relate to that. I was one of those people that had to do a little bit more research too. They're saying Cleopatra was Greek. For a while, it was a common conversation about Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra and that she was this white woman who was playing a person of color. And so now they're saying that she was Greek, I guess. Gal Gadot, I love her. Of course, she's going to do a good job. I think it just opens the conversation. It opens the door to the conversation that we need to be having, more roles and opportunities for people of color.
You know, I'm just thinking, why are we even still making Cleopatra movies? Is this really a story that needs to be told? There are so many other great stories from that time in Egypt. If you want to do a good job, it's like telling an Egyptian story, get Queen Nefertiti. Have her do a movie about her. Gal Gadot, though, I love her. She's great. I don't see why people are so upset. I'm just more upset about, like, why Cleopatra? Why is this another Cleopatra film?
Here's my take. As long as Gal Gadot is not posting a video of her and other celebrities singing Imagine again, I don't care what she ever does again. I will never get over that. She can portray anyone she wants as long as it's not herself singing that song with her friends.
Oh, boy.
Well, I'm sorry. I still can't get over that. I know that was 6 months ago, or 8 months ago. God only knows. I don't care. I can't get riled up about this sort of stuff anymore when there's so much other stuff to get riled up on.
Yeah,
And
you've met your quota for rants
later.
today, John. You're done with rants for today.
Imagine all the people.
Okay, now bring it in. John, you want it closer?
I'm trying to get you going. Here we go.
Okay, guys, let's do it. You are watching The Jam. I'm Felicia Lawrence. We've got John Hanson and Deanna Gutierrez in for Amy Rutledge.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Was that too early? Yeah, Felicia's face says so. Deanna, it doesn't seem like you're too happy about it either. But
you could have just
of
read
course,
the story.
I don't have my scripts up, so I just sang it instead. But of course, Christmas music comes earlier and earlier, it seems, every year on one of our favorite stations, 93.9 Light FM. And this year they're doing a contest where you have to guess the day and the hour in which that they're going to start playing Christmas music. So I just posed the question to you first, Deanna. Do you have a date in mind where Christmas music is okay versus not okay? Like, do you have it set in your mind?
Yeah, no, absolutely. First, I just want to give a quick shout out to Delilah on 93.9. She is my favorite. She has been through all Christmases. Delilah, this is for you. But to the question, John, I think the day after Thanksgiving is my go-to. The day after Thanksgiving, when I'm like suffering from a stomachache from eating too much, I like cure myself with holiday music. That's how it goes.
Makes sense. Well,
first of all, I want to cut how much you got to shout out Delilah. I want some of that.
I've always wanted to do that. Delilah. Yeah.
So I'll tell you, November 1st, that might shock you, but I will go November 1st because I just need to get past Halloween and then I'm ready.
I'm fine. I agree. I think mid-November is pretty good. It starts ramping you up for it. I'm okay with that. You won't have to hear Christmas music on MeTV FM 87.7, by the way. Maybe the company can give me some more money for that one. Go ahead, Felicia, on to the next story.
Okay, catfishing. It's when someone online pretends to be someone they're not. So not only is it emotionally taxing, but it can also cost you a lot of money as well. Apparently, it was costing millions of dollars. I'll get to that in 2 seconds. So they're saying that the use of dating apps increased during the pandemic by 18%. And these romance scams, we know they're up as well. $201 million was lost in 2019. And Illinois apparently is ranking number 7 on that, okay? 518 romance scams the FBI was able to track in 2019. Does this shock you that these numbers are this high? I can't believe people are still falling for stuff like this.
I mean, what's a romance scam? Like, is it just like the date doesn't end up good, and then I'm like, I want my money back? Because that's what I would.
No, I think it's like someone who gets money from you by pretending to be someone they. Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know, Deanna.
I'm just trying to make a joke. Sheesh. No, what I'm saying, I think what I'm trying to say, hold on, let me collect my thoughts, is that, yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked. Illinois is super expensive. Chicago is super expensive. Anywhere you go, you need loads of money. I don't know about $201 million, but.
I think that people in Illinois, we're from the Midwest, we have good souls, we have good hearts, and we are trusting people. And I think that that's why we get scammed so much, because we just want to believe, right? We believe in love here in Illinois and the Midwest. And I didn't look at the whole thing of all the country, but I imagine a lot of Midwest states are. We trust people.
You must not know a lot of Chicagoans then. Because I don't know what nice Chicagoans you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, you should trust people, but when it just comes to the internet and online dating, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay, guys, I'm really excited to talk to our next guest. I believe we have him. He is, oh, nope, not. I've been yelled at in my ear by 5 people, so we're not doing that.
No, don't go.
Yes. We're all. Oh, that was
John. Read the
that was
script.
loud. We're not doing that. Let's talk about a new bridge across the Chicago River. The 606 was this awesome new project that they added a couple years ago that added a new pedestrian way for everyone. And this is going to actually connect the 606 trail to Bucktown and Lincoln Park, essentially setting this sucker east, allowing people to run back and forth and go further too. The bridge is part of that Lincoln Yards development that was much maligned by a lot of neighborhood folks, but this was one of the parts that was very welcomed by it. It'll include lanes for cars, a 2-way bike lane, and pedestrian walkways as too, and also a little extension underneath the Chicago River as well. So that's cool.
I mean,
you know what I'm going to ask, John?
Where is it on the south side?
It's either or.
Why don't
You're
we
right,
have?
Deanna. Yes, Deanna, it's
Why
either
don't we have
why
that on the
is
south
it on the south side or how much is this going to cost?
No, because it's a serious issue. I mean, when I was training for the marathon on the south side, I had nowhere to run. I mean, like, and look, I tried running around my neighborhood and it was like 12 laps around my block, and I was like, I can't continue doing this. So we definitely need something like that here. Otherwise, like, you can't expect people to be healthy in low-income communities and then not have a space for them to exercise or to appreciate the outdoors.
That's a good point, Deanna. That's a good point. You know, we talk about people getting outdoors and out of out in the community and everything. And, you know, it is up to the people who live in that community to try to build it up and take care of it. But you also want to make sure that you're seeing the proper investment there as well. So I can certainly see that. I mean, I guess Deanna and I really don't have much to say about this bridge because it isn't in our neighborhoods. And then, you know, I always want to know how much this stuff is costing.
Yeah, well,
there is no rebuttal, John. That's it.
No, yes, there is.
Go ahead.
Give me a chance to do it. Because yes, you hear Lincoln Park and you say, what does Lincoln Park need more? But the 606, which is the trail that this connects to, extends very far west to neighborhoods that had no place for people to run or to bike. And it provided a lot of options. I mean, the current 606, I think it goes to Kedzie, at least to Sacramento, into the west side of Chicago. It was heralded as a huge project. And if nothing else, maybe this will give a chance for people that live in the Lincoln Park, that live in the Bucktown neighborhood, a chance to explore neighborhoods west of their own. I know a lot of people are scared of going west of the river, west to western. Well, that adage is old, and I think it's awesome that people can explore Humboldt Park, a neighborhood that has so many strong Puerto Rican roots and so many great places to go and explore. If nothing else, this bridge helps connect these two neighborhoods. Yeah. And now we all hold hands and we sing Kumbaya, okay?
I was going to say, okay, good for them. Good for them.
Okay, guys, let's talk about this next story because this one gave me a little bit of chills, I guess we can say. An Illinois mom gave birth in the middle of her bar exam. Brianna Hill's original test was pushed back, obviously, because of COVID. Now, at the time that she took the exam, she was 38 weeks pregnant. Her water broke 30 minutes into the test. In the meantime, she was like crying. She's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And she said, I cleaned myself and went back to finish the second part of my exam. And then after she finished the second part, she left for the hospital. The baby was born. And as we know, bar exams are split into 2 days. So she finished the test the next day at the hospital. Like, what?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I haven't experienced childbirth yet. When I do pray that it goes as well for me as it does for her. It goes as it did for her. It goes as well for me. Just because the fact that she was able to finish, you know, her test and everything, I think that speaks to what kind of condition, what she was working through. But I mean, this makes you just proud to be a woman. Look at everything that women accomplish, let alone mothers accomplish. This is cool.
You know, when I had a big test or something big to do, I would always pray for an excuse to get out of it. And the great Lord gave her one, to be sure. I mean, that was her moment to say, oh, not this time. I can't do it, guys. My water broke.
That's a good one.
And credit to her, obviously seeing how important this was, because obviously then she's able to do it, and a big life accomplishment as well. Also, by the way, we're trying to get Godfrey. He's got a show coming up at the Improv in Schaumburg. We're still going to try and get him on the show, but we're having some technical difficulties doing that. Let's also talk about Halloween costumes, because I know that we're trying to see what the trending thing is, even though Halloween's not like entirely canceled. But the number one costume is so boring. It's a witch. The top three are witch, dinosaur, Harley Quinn, rabbit, and clown.
Boo.
Boo these people.
Yeah. I mean, Harley Quinn was so last year. Like, no, we should have a whole new one. I mean, I can't tell you what it would be because we only got Corona and virus. But I mean, Harley Quinn was really. I
just want to point out that you can narrow down this search to your hometown. And we typed in Chicago. And guys, okay, you're gonna freak out at these. The first three are a zombie, a rabbit, and a fish.
What?
Who wants to be a fish? Who wants to be a fish for Halloween?
At least in Chicago, get creative in Chicago. If you're going to be a fish that's pulled out of the river and be radioactive. Like that at least is a Chicago angle, okay? Use what you got here. Zombie, come on, come up with something clever.
Yeah,
By the way,
rabbit? Why is that
I
even
know.
a thing?
But
I
people
will
like
say-
zombies, though. People really do like zombies. Of course, you had the whole Walking Dead phenomenon. That show
Right.
was really hit home for a lot of folks. So people like
Look,
zombies.
I want to live forever as much as the next person, even if that means that I'm eating humans after I die. But zombies, I think, are scary and boring. I just wish there was just a little bit more creativity. And having said that, I dressed as Sherlock Holmes for 4 straight years. So,
Okay.
I was going to say, what would you add to the list?
right.
Mayor
let's
Lori
go to-
Lightfoot's disguise.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Brandon Pope, who's been the Black Panther, I think 3 years in a row. I don't know if he's trying something different this year. Poper, what are you doing?
I was wondering where you're going with that. I just heard the black. I'm like, oh boy. Gotta love it.
Go
Hey,
on.
nothing wrong with a Black Panther costume. All right, guys. So COVID-19, it's causing some problems for a Chicago sports team, and Apple is gearing up to drop its latest iPhone. Lots of people excited about that one, Felicia. Those stories are coming up after this. You gonna get the new iPhone?
I'm considering it. We'll see what happens. Then we're going to go over some restaurant do's and don'ts from
Really
RPM
interesting,
Seafood,
Felicia.
and let us entertain you. Jared Melvin. So check out the story exclusively on our Instagram account. Follow us at the Jam TV Show. We'll be right back. Don't pressure me to spend my money. Don't pressure me like that.
Could be yes, could be no.
Brandon Pope here with the news you need to know. An $8 million city plan looks to expand mental health care access across the west side of Chicago. The money is split up between 32 different organizations with the goal of providing care to anyone despite their ability to pay. Apple is set to unveil the iPhone 12 lineup tomorrow at noon, with many tech experts believing the company is going to finally announce 5G speeds for their phones, as well as new Apple Watch models and headphones. And the Chinese city of Qingdao says it's prepared to test its entire population of 9 million people in as short as 5 days. The mass testing comes after the discovery of a dozen cases linked to a hospital treating COVID patients arriving from overseas. And the NFL is going through it when it comes to the coronavirus. The Bears, they had to hold Zoom meetings, had to go without the practice squad as well after a player on it tested positive for COVID-19 over the weekend. No Bears player has tested positive since that happened, and the team is still planning to play in Carolina to play the Panthers this weekend. But it comes as the league is having to adjust their schedule after a lot of different COVID-19 events. They had to postpone games from an outbreak with the Tennessee Titans and a positive test from Patriots quarterback Cam Newton. And meanwhile, we saw the NBA season wrap up last night. The NBA, 374 players in that bubble. Not one person got COVID-19. So it raises a lot of questions about what the NFL is doing and if the NFL can even go forward with a season if this really continues as a problem.
Yeah, man, it just grinds my gears. It's like, I just wish for everyone's health. I don't know why they didn't do the bubble. The conversation actually annoys me every single time.
I understand why the bubble thing is a little difficult for the NFL because of the roster. If you look at, NBA and you look at NFL, we're talking about two different sports completely, but this shouldn't be a conversation we're having today, right now in October. This is something that should have been thought about in March when we knew that we were going to be in this for the long run. I mean, it's just kind of annoying that we're like, oh, what are we going to do now? Like, it's almost a little bit, I don't want to say too late, but it's also like, you have people on your team that can come up with strategies. That's how the NBA got the bubble.
But I gotta disagree with both of you here. Like, I think that we've had cases in the NFL. We had some cases early on in baseball, but they've handled it, right? Like even the Titans, who had a pretty extensive outbreak on their team, don't anymore. I think there's lessons to be learned from the NFL. Like, I agree. I think going to a bubble would have been great if it was at all possible. But the reality is maybe there's something that can be taken away from what the sports teams are doing when they find out there is a potential outbreak on their team. Obviously, we're only a couple weeks into this thing, but the same thing happened in the baseball season. It was like 5 or 7 days into it. You had a couple teams with outbreaks, and they found a way to isolate, test completely, and move on. And Brendan, you were just talking about the city in China that went to extensive testing because a dozen people got it out of 9 million. I mean, I think the NFL and Major League Baseball, despite not being in the bubble, have done a pretty good job, and there's lessons there.
Yeah, I think the big question, though, is like, what is the NFL's plan? Like, how far are you ready to push back a season if you need to? Do you have contingency plans in place? And if you're a person who's on these teams, like, you got to really think about your safety and your families if we're having COVID-19 outbreaks. So I think it really is, it's concerning, but if there's a plan in place, they haven't really communicated that. But if there is one, then we can see how that goes.
I'm sure there is, right? Like, I mean, why do they have to tell us their plan for every eventuality, right? Like, I mean, all this hypothesizing, like, where's the plan? I'm sure they got one. And if not, they'll make it up and lie later. Okay, that's going to do it for, was that your dog, Deanna?
Yeah. We'll just
trying to weigh in, but we don't have time for the dog. Sorry. Okay, guys, coming up, Kanye releasing his first 2020 campaign video. Can't wait for that. And Snoop Dogg remixing one of his most popular songs for a great cause. We're going to chat about that coming up. Oh, I've always got the pulse on what is trending out there on the internet. And Snoop Dogg is teaming up with Democrats to encourage voters to drop it like it's hot at the ballot box. Drop it like it's hot. I did it there. Snoop says, this is the most important election of our lifetimes, and it's my first time voting. We need every single American to get out there and vote. You know, Shaq also said it was his first time voting, but we're going to forgive the fact that they're a little late to the voting party and just be happy that they showed up at all. Okay, speaking of voting, Kanye West unveiling his first 2020 campaign ad. Yes, remember, he's running for president, people. He's calling out for people to write his name in because he's not on the ballot in a lot of states. The video posted on Twitter focuses on faith, prayer, and family.
We will build a stronger country by building stronger families. Families are the building blocks of society, of a nation.
The video goes on and ends with a title screen that reads, "Write in Kanye West."
All right, thanks so much, John. A quick look at the 7-day forecast. We don't have time to chat about that. We have no time. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast as we head to break. The Jam will be back in 90 seconds.
All right, time of the show. We go deep about ourselves, dish about a topic. Felicia, are we going deep it or are we dishing?
A little bit of a both, John. You know, I'm a woman. I want it all. So we know what assumptions can make. What do you mean?
It's okay.
Okay, sure.
Don't ignore them. Ignore them. They don't know anything. It's fine.
Okay, it's fine.
We all know that what they say about assumptions, right? You can make a blank out of you and me when you do them. Well, Reddit was blowing up to the question, what's an assumption that someone has made about you? That turned out to be completely wrong. So let's go around the circle and hold hands and share.
I guess I can start. I have a lot, but I will do the more simple one. So you guys know Yorkie Poos can run you about, I don't know, $5,000, $2,000 to $5,000. So my dog is a Yorkie Poo, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, you spend so much money on your dog. Newsflash, my dad got her at like a flea market, so she was like $300. But that's just my confession.
That's a good one. I've got a kind of like a layered one. I'm going to, Brandon, you're next. Go ahead, bud.
You might as well go ahead, John.
All right, well, send it right back to me. All right, so going deep, you know, a lot of people when they meet me, I've talked about this before on the show, that you have to, like, being gay, you have to come out so many times to so many different people, every single new person you meet. And a lot of people have assumptions in their head about what a gay man acts like or looks like. And for whatever reason, some people think I don't fall in that. So a lot of people have no idea that I'm gay, and not as much now, but especially when I was younger and going through college, a lot of people said really inappropriate things around me, having no idea that I fell into that category. That's the deep part. The dish part, the fun part about the conversation, is how those assumptions, once you break them, once you break that major one, you can continue to break them, right? Because a lot of people assume, oh, you're gay, so you must like musicals, which is true. But I also like sports and politics and a bunch of other things. Do I watch Project Runway? Well, yes, I do. I love it to death. But there's a bunch of other things that I do or don't love. So I think that assumptions can be a really dangerous thing, but like finding out that you're wrong about someone doesn't have to be a negative if you can break through it and learn a little bit on the other side.
Truth.
I like that.
I just didn't know we had to have two. You're
No, you
like
don't.
overachieving here.
No, okay,
I was
well,
messing
that's
around
fine
when
then.
I said the joke about my dog. Whatever, Brandon, go.
No, it's fine. It's deep or dish. Brandon, what are we deep into?
Well,
We dish in here.
I'll give you deep and dish, okay? Deep,
Okay.
I think people assume that Brandon Pope is a player, that Brandon Pope is just, out here with
stop
all
right
the
there.
ladies.
You're going to strike us
truth
down with
is-
lightning.
The truth is,
Brandon.
I am a very sensitive, romantic guy, and I am not a player out here, okay? I am a grown man, okay? So that's the first assumption, okay? For the dish side, people assume I be out here, that I like to club and party. That ain't the case at all. My ideal night, chilling at home, watching
Brandon.
Netflix. I don't like going out at all.
I knew you in your South Bend days. Why are you lying to these people?
Because South Bend days,
Brandon,
South Bend days.
I know you on your Chicago days, and I see you out too, Brandon. Okay, you're in the club with me, right where I'm at. Right where I'm at. I can't even get the words out. Stop
I
lying
have
to these
aged out
people,
of it.
Brandon.
I've aged out of it. I don't even like it. People be like, "Yeah, we're going out." I'll be like, "Okay, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there." I don't show up.
People that assume that Brandon Pope is a player are talking about single-player games, not multiplayer. Felicia, to you.
No, okay, really quick. I think just because I I think I'm attractive. And so I think that's off-putting at times. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I think I got the whole like prissy, pretty girl thing. And people just assume that I was mean or not going to be as welcoming or friendly. And it kind of made first impressions a little difficult. But I don't think that that's how I am. High maintenance,
No, you-
yes, but not mean.
Yeah. No, you are pretty,
It's
and
so
that is
nice.
confirmed, but you are a super awesome human. And so are you, Brandon, Deanna as well. We'll see everyone tomorrow.
Thank you.